Hey, happy Tuesday, February 23rd, 2021, 7:18 a.m. on my Swatch watch. Let's just get going. Let's go on. We know what we do. We read papers live. Well, I read papers live and you watch me do it. So let's just do it. Blue plastic today. Blue plastic's got both the Inquirer, as we know, Times. We read the Inquirer on this here program. So that's what we're going to do. You sleep all right last night? I kind of had one of those wake ups where you're kind of like extra tired when you get up for some reason. You know? You wake up around a normal time that you normally would wake up, but like it's for whatever reason you kind of got it right where you're in that state of sleep where waking up is like especially difficult. Not difficult, just like groggy. You feel extra groggy as opposed to your normal wake-ups. So it's not going to stop me from reading the paper live, clearly, because here I am. But, you know, it's just another thing you got to kind of overcome. Just like this. Oop, just like this. That's a little bit of a spit up from a sidekick over here hanging out watching a show. I carried her upstairs. Got a little spit up. Again, that's part of the charm. You know, you see the warts and all on this channel. And separate sections to get started, huh? Here's the front page today. Here's your region today. Oh, your region, here's your light. It's bigger. You know, I'm going to just let this thing hang out there for the entire read so you can be distracted by it the whole time. You can be distracted by the spit up from my child on my shirt the entire time. Hey, spit up on the shirt is just a part of life for a gentleman with 2 children under the age of 4. Sports. It's endearing, isn't it? The same? The spill? Is it not as endearing that I keep talking about it? It's probably less endearing. Just let it go. All right. Sports, as we know, that's where we go. That's where we start. We look at sports. Last night, there were no games on. But tonight, there's the Sixers. 7:30. Trying to get revenge on the Raptors. Before we get there, though, it's interesting. What's up with the Rangers? Our teamy Panarin, who likely missed the game against the Flyers on Wednesday, 7 p.m. in the wake of a Russian assault allegation. Let's delve into that a little bit, huh? And when the Rangers host the New York Rangers, when the Flyers host the New York Rangers on Wednesday, it appears they won't have to worry about defending superstar left winger Artemi Panarin. Panarin, who has a team-high 18 points in 14 games, is taking a leave of absence for personal reasons, the Rangers said in a statement Monday. The Rangers released a statement after a Russian newspaper reported that Panarin's former KHL coach, Andrei Nazarov, alleged the winger beat up an 18-year-old woman in Latvia in 2011. Nazarov has been critical of Panarin's outspoken comments against Russian President Vladimir Putin. Wow, it's like this whole it's like soap opera. This whole plot line going on here. In her statement, In their statement, the Rangers called the report an intimidation tactic for Panarin's political views and said the player vehemently and unequivocally denies any and all allegations of this fabricated story. An interesting tale. Last time the Flyers faced the Rangers, Panarin had just returned from missing 2 games because of an injury. He was dominating in New York's 3-2 shootout win last Thursday, firing 16 shots, 8 on goal, collecting assists and scoring a decisive goal in what Flyers coach Alain Vigneault calls the, quote, skills competition. I never heard him call. I never heard Alain dub the shootout a skills competition, but it's totally right. I've always kind of had like a little bit of an irkness towards the shootout. It's always seemed like a gimmick to me. Well, listen, I hope that everything gets short up there. If he did something nefarious, Panarin, if he assaulted a woman 10 years ago, it is true. He should be held accountable. If he didn't, he should get back on the ice. Because that's the just way to behave in our lives. If somebody did something, they should be punished. If they definitively didn't do something, we should move on. But for the Flyers' sake, not having a guy who scored 21 points in 16 games against the Flyers tomorrow night, 7 p.m., not bad. Hey. Down here watching our show. All right, back to the Sixers. I think the Raptors are doubling them. Raptors defense on Sunday led the Sixers center to take bad shots and become frustrated. Did the Toronto Raptors provide the recipe for beating the 76ers? Oh, we're at that stage where we're thinking they got the secret weapon. The Raptors double teamed MVP candidate Joel Embiid as soon as he caught the ball, if not sooner. He responded by forcing some shots and getting a bit frustrated at times in the Sixers' 110-103 loss. Quote, I thought in the third quarter, as he said, I had 100 good looks tonight. The ball just didn't go in, Doc Rivers said. There's nights like that. I thought the misses started mounting up as far as how we were handling it, he said. So we've got to do a better job of handling misses because that is going to happen in the game. Still, Embiid finished with 25 points on 6 for 20 shooting to go with a game-high 17 boards. It's a Keith Pompey piece if you want to read more about the Sixers prospects tonight against those Toronto Raptors. In Tampa, 7:30. You can do that on Inquirer.com. Turning pages. I said before about, I'm going to say it again. I'm not going to read much Phillies news. I'm just going to not read much Phillies news. So maybe when they start the game, start playing, I might dip in and see how they're doing. But right now, not going to do it. Yeah, I saw this story too. I didn't really understand what was going on, but now I want to learn the actual details. The headline is "Loose Lips Cost Seattle CEO His Job." Inappropriate remarks to a Rotary Club went viral. What were those remarks? Seattle Mariners CEO Kevin Mather resigned Monday after a video surfaced over the weekend of him expressing his views of the club's organizational strategy and opinions about some players. Mather's resignation is effective immediately. Mariners chairman John Stanton will take on the roles of CEO and team president on an interim basis. Quote, "There's no excuse for what was said, and I won't try to make one," Stanton said. "I offer my sincere apologies on behalf of the club and my partners to our players and fans. We must be and do better." All right, let's skip to it here. Video was posted by the Rotary Club. It was 46 minutes long. Touched on areas of the Mariners' organizational situation going into the 2021 season. Okay. Mather said Another top prospect, Julio Rodriguez, didn't have tremendous English, and he complained about the cost associated with having an interpreter for Japanese pitcher Heihachi Iwamura. He said, quote, "Wonderful human being. His English was terrible. He wanted to get back into the game, and he came to us. We quite frankly want him as our Asian scout/interpreter. What's going on with the Japanese league? He's coming to spring training." Yeah. And I'm going to say, I'm tired of paying his interpreter. When he was a player, we'd pay Iwamura X, but we'd also have to pay $75,000 a year to have an interpreter with him. His English suddenly got better. His English got better when we told him that. Oh, wow. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something. Maybe there's more to it. Grace. But loose lips sink ships. Hey. You know what I mean. Bruins are getting the best of Flyers and Hart this year, as we know. Let's see, where they got? What's the story with Hart? Hart played very well when the Flyers dropped the 3-2 overtime decision Thursday to the Rangers, their first game in 11 nights, but struggled Sunday against Boston again. Hart, whose Zoom interview after the game went silent because of what the NHL called, quote, technical difficulties, is 0-2-2 against the Bruins this season with a 5.32 goals against, and an 8.843 save percentage. That's 84.3%. If you move the decimal point 2 spaces, 84.3%. Yeah, that's right. JVR still tearing it up. 3 points on Sunday against the Bees, including the 500th of his career. That's James Van Riemsdyk. He leads the Flyers with 21 points, tied for 10th in the NHL. A couple more little, fun little Flyers tidbits. This pull-out column here, this pull-out box, little one here. I don't know if you can get that sort of a condensed sort of highlights of the Flyers online. Maybe you can, but in the newspaper, it's nicely consolidated here for you in the right-hand corner of the lower D3. That's why you got to get the newspaper delivered every day, because it's all just laid out for you nicely. Okay, we're going to turn to the scoreboard / standings. Same stuff. Nothing new. Now we're going to turn to weather. Weather time. What's going on? What's going on in the weather? What do you think about that? Still a beautiful day on Wednesday, huh? Nice one today. 44 is not bad. 51, 46, 45, 50 despite the rain. 51, 54. Whoa! Now starting Wednesday, we're going to be 45 and up for 5 straight days. That's a smile on your face to an extent, right? I don't see any snow. It's great. It's great stuff. We need it. Today's sunset. 5:46 p.m. What do you want to do now? Grace, want to go to life? Let's do life. Being in good spirits today. All right, let's go to CAROLYN here. She's in the life section today. She needs to be examined. She needs to be read. Let's get through it. CAROLYN's our daily advice columnist. She writes a syndicated column for the Washington Post and the Inquirer, maybe other papers. Today's advice summary is help for the caregiver of someone severely depressed. Okay, let's read this. My partner is depressed, clinically depressed, needs medication depressed. This stems in part from a job loss that occurred over a year ago. And no New job has been found. He has an appointment with a therapist through Medicaid, and hopefully things will start improving. Sounds like a situation or an issue that could be impacting many people right now. But now I'm worried about me. I've been employed the whole time, so I'm responsible for 100% of all expenses. Because of his depression, I'm also responsible for most cooking and cleaning and all the mental energy to do anything. Plan a grocery store trip, remind him to go to the resume class for career changers, make appointments, know where extra batteries are, where the remote control is, where his glasses are. I am exhausted, understandably so. And might also be feeling some depression due to the pressure. I'm not sleeping. I'm crying whenever I'm by myself, because if I cry in front of him about something, he goes on and on about how he's caused it. He's worthless and stupid. Depression talking, for sure. And how I'd be better off without him. So I'm responsible for reminding him he's not stupid. He didn't cause whatever is upsetting me, and I'm really fine. I feel like I can't do it anymore. And I can't do therapy myself. I have an $8,000 deductible. How can I afford a luxury like therapy? How do I manage my own emotions and keep moving forward until his therapy starts working? Again, this could be a good piece of a good answer, which I'm about to read, for many people in the same scenario right now. I mean, we're all feeling some sort of out of whack. Whether it's clinical depression, whether it's just sort of dark cloud hovering over us, whether it's this feeling of, hopelessness in some area of our lives, exhaustion, frustration over this whole pandemic life. I mean, if you're not feeling a little bit off kilter, I mean, more power to you, of course. But totally understandable. Maybe this answer will help you, and or if you're dealing with that kind of emotions in a loved one, we'll see if this is going to be successful for you, this information. CAROLYN, she says, "Oh my goodness, I am sorry. Depression is exhausting to be around. Therapy is not a luxury, though I understand a massive deductible. Such an outrage. So what about a support group? NAMI offers programs for caregivers, including Family to Family, NAMI.org, or 800-950-6264. I suspect just talking to the helpline staff will bring relief, that people know this problem and understand how you feel. If you had any doubts that you're in good company, allow fellow readers to dispel them. They recommended sliding scale fees, students working toward a counseling degree, employee assistance programs, openpathcollective.org, and the following." And then you have, now I'm not going to read all these, but she opens the door to all these readers here. Every one of these bullet points is a reader kind of offering some advice, some suggestions. We're just going to go to the fourth bullet. As someone who has been chronically depressed, much of it career-related, I highly recommend Buddhist podcasts from the Amaravati Monastery. We put so much stock in our working identities that any blip can send us into a tailspin. Meditation, as well has been clinically proven to help with depression. Letting go of my own rigid beliefs saved my life. If anyone's having a rough time, again, do not be ashamed to go out and seek help. And I hope you do that if you need it, and I hope it works for you. And sometimes you just need to take a deep breath, let it out, focus on your breathing. That's helped me. Scorpio. Scopes. What's going on with the Scorpio scope today? Is it bogus? Is it slightly bogus? Or is it not bogus at all? Scorpio. Another 5-star day. Wow. Hear that, Grace? This is the second day in a row we've had 5 stars. Other 5-star days for you. Virgo. Capricorn. Cancer. That's it. Scorpio's 5-star. Today turns your attention toward distant shores and imported items. You'll tire of all that has become comfortable and familiar. A blockage that has hampered your progress melts away. A goal is about to materialize. Catch up with friends who are far away. We're doing some Zooms today, maybe. Some far-flung friends. Thank you, Madeline. If any of that rings true for your Scorpios out there, some of it kind of resonated a little bit with me. I'm not going to lie. It was all right today. Okay. Now we got comics. Now we're done life. Thanks, Grace. Now we're going to go to the region. Okay, what we got in the region today, guys? What we got? I'm really a big fan on the front page. Doesn't really draw my attention. Police seek witnesses in shooting of 8. You remember that? That shooting at Broad and Olney. Looks like the police are trying to... They have not determined a motive for last week's shooting that wounded 8 people at the Olney Transportation Center. Chief Inspector Frank Vanor, who oversees the police department's detective bureau, said investigators have evidence, including video from the surrounding area, but, quote, don't have enough to connect that evidence and be able to say exactly who the shooter was. We need to know who was brazen enough to fire that gun that day, Vanor said. Into last week's shooting, Mayor Kenny pledged to be more transparent and accountable on the issue. Gun violence, preventative models. I think we can all, when we saw the weather, we were all, I was, I'm sure you were too, like, yes, this is what we need. Yes, I am weary of winter. Warm-up is on the way. Thank you. Right? We saw that in the 10-day, but heaviest of the rapidly falling snows on Monday, up to 5.5 inches north and west of the city, landed upon some of the areas that have been favorite targets of those cotton ball flakes for the last 2 weeks, and that, in all likelihood, is deeper than coincidence. The impacts of elevated terrain and distance from the core of Philadelphia's heat island effect are well known. But what occurred Monday also could have been a case of snow begetting snow, said Chad Schaefer, a lead meteorologist with the National Weather Service office in Mount Holly. He said that some studies have suggested that a dense snowpack, which would have a chilling effect on the overlying air, could have an enhancing effect on snowfall. It certainly can't be ruled out. So maybe it sounds like, the more snow you have on the ground, possibly more snow there is that could fall. It's an Anthony R. Wood piece, if you want to read more about the science of weather or the logistics of weather and whether snow on the ground could create more potential for snow in the air. I don't want to mislead, so check out that article on Inquirer.com. Let's take a quick gander at let's take a quick moment of peace here at our, those who've passed. We didn't get to spend much time on this yesterday because we had a little bit of a meltdown from our guest host. But today it looks like we could be a little bit quieter. Here's some faces for you to look at. Say rest in peace. I got 2 pages here. Yeah, that's B5. Here's B4. Who's James Cummins? What's he got? Rest in peace, James. He's a retired employee of Pathmark Supermarkets after 35 years of service. Oh, God, sweetie. I'm going to thank him for his work during the pandemic. helping us stay fed. 55-year-old Kathy Bronco. You want to come out? Want to hang out with me? Hey, say hi. What, sweetie pie? Yeah, you just do that. We're reading about some people that left this earthly realm. All right, they passed on, and we're going to thank them for their service while on this planet, and wish them well. We got a 55-year-old, like I mentioned, Kathy Bronca. I don't know what was the cause here, but it doesn't say suddenly, so. Irene Cawley, 83. Mayfair. Rest in peace. And then on the B5, we looked at Howard Silverman. His nickname was Monk. He enjoyed Temple University basketball games, talking about his time at Central High School, drinking vodka on the rocks, and reading a whole bunch of good books. 80 years old, passed away on the 20th. Rest in peace, Howard. Everybody, be calm, be at peace. I wish you well in your next life, next journey. And now, we're going to close out our read as we always do. The front section. Yeah, and we know this. We know that story. We know that happened yesterday. The 500,000 death mark. In addition to that headline, we see something about schools, in-person classes, class expansion is being explored. It's a Maddie Hanna piece. Chesco, which is Chester County, and Delaware County, may ease distancing for schools. School districts across 2 southeastern Pennsylvania counties are considering the broadest expansion of in-person instruction since the pandemic began, after health officials moved to relax social distancing standards for school buildings. The guidance, expected to be issued this week by the Chester County Health Department, would cut from 6 feet to 3 feet, the recommended minimum social distance among students, as long as their communities are below the highest levels of virus transmission. Shoot, I'm hearing the trash truck out there, realizing that I forgot to put the trash out. Wow, I'm going to have to wait till Friday now. I'm going to just build up the trash. I'm going to have to wait till Friday. I know. Daddy did a bonehead move. The directive could spur nearly 30 public school districts in Chester and Delaware counties to begin welcoming back more students to their classrooms. Quote, of course, the spokesperson for the Pennsylvania State Education Association says 6 feet of social distancing is the norm in retail establishments, restaurants, and other businesses. It's completely unacceptable that these rules won't apply to Chester and Delaware schools. Hey. That's Chris Lilienthal. He wants 20 feet between people. 20 feet in schools. Sorry, I can't help it. There's more about this. This is a front page piece. Maddie, it's below the fold. If you want to read that. I'm going to read more of it. For now, I'm going to turn pages. Yeah. It goes on to 8-8, so maybe when I get to 8-8, I'll take another look here. I did see that New Jersey made cannabis legal. First sales could be next year. New Jersey's broken and indefensible marijuana laws are no more, said Governor Murphy, who ran for governor on a platform that included legalizing marijuana within his first 100 days of office. We now have laws that will usher in a new industry based on equity, reinvest dollars into communities, and promote both public health and public safety. I did realize that I don't tackle too much of international news on this program at the start, but I figure like if I'm going to read the Inquirer, what I'm trying to really focus on are things that happen in and around the Philadelphia region. And I touch on some bigger news, that is worth some commentary, but I try to keep it more localized, right, Grace? That's kind of the philosophy. Here's another big piece on schools with a photo of Harnett Valley Superintendent Mark Petrano. We've heard about him before. He wrote a piece in during one of our reads. You may have read a little bit about it. He wrote an op-ed in regarding vaccines. Chester County Health Director Gene Franklin acknowledged the urgent need to reopen schools and called in-school instruction vital for all children. Quote, because of the layer of mitigation measures you have successfully implemented, she wrote the superintendents in a letter, we support schools increasing more in-person learning through reduced physical distance. It's like we're moving, slowly but surely, taking steps towards getting kids back to school. Only a year in. Okay, I'm going to read more about that for sure. No question. Going into the business inset. Piece about how the electric bills are expensive in Texas now, as we saw before. Going on to the last 2 pages of today's Inquirer, where we will take on our special feature called Today's Letter. The options for reading, Grace. Let me read the headlines. And then I'll read the headlines and then we'll read the person who wrote it and then we'll pick one. Opening schools versus restaurants. Raymond J. Gump, Southampton. Eliminate interest on student loans. Mary Hines, Cherry Hill. Support of Indigenous Peoples Day. Judith Israel. D. Witt, Philadelphia. Drop to increase minimum wage. Funding education by increasing taxes. Michael Ribin, Collegeville. Andy Anderson, Glassboro. Food workers critically essential. Stephen A. Silver, San Francisco. Wentz trade not the worst in Philadelphia history. And James R. Kroom, Biden's humility refreshing. Let's look at the Wentz trade and see what I think this guy's going to take on Marcus Hayes. Here we go. Stephen Silver. Marcus Hayes calls the Eagles trade of Carson Wentz to the Colts, quote, the worst trade in Philadelphia sports history. Remember, I was like a little bit like, whoa, Marcus, slow down there and pump the brakes. Looks like Mr. Silver had the same impression. Actually, it's not even among the worst trades in Eagles history. On April 1st, 1964, the Eagles foolishly traded future Hall of Fame quarterback Sonny Jurgensen to Washington for Norm Snead and Claude Crabb. In 1976, new head coach Dick Vermeil traded future Pro Bowl cornerback Joe Lavender to Washington for Manny Sistrunk. And while not technically a trade, in 1971, the Eagles cut Mark Mosley, who will go on to become not only an All-Pro, but also the only place kicker ever to be named NFL MVP, and spent a 4th-round pick on his replacement, James Patrick Happy Feller, who made only 16 of 43 career field goal attempts. This guy knows his Eagles history. This guy's like, hey, I know my Eagles history. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to school you, Marcus. Let's go one more into funding education by increasing taxes. No tax increases should be implemented. Now is the time for schools, employees, and government to look within for the revenue needed to fix this ongoing financial dilemma. Benefits such as perks, pensions, and medical benefits should be trimmed, and a major increase for medical/dental/prescription coverages such as that of those in the private sector. This is not the time for more tax increases due to the financial crisis being imposed on the citizens and businesses who are trying to financially sustain themselves. That was Michael Regan. If you'd like to read more letters to the editor, go on Inquirer.com, look for the menu, look for opinion, click on the opinion menu, then go to the next menu, letters, read all the letters. And you have some featured op-eds. 1. Keep MLK Drive closed to cars permanently by Randy Lobasso, Policy Director at the Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philly. Whoa! I will be reading that because I am a bicyclist. So, I'm going to check that out. Biden at the college problem long. His response on canceling student debt revealed he doesn't understand the issue. Will Bunch, we know he's left. So he's got a piece today. Will Bunch. And Philadelphia's failing to protect domestic violence victims. Asia Beach. He's a writer in Philadelphia. Survivor of domestic violence. And a speaker on the Resilient Voices Speakers Bureau. Those are your 3 featured op-eds today. I'm going to take a look at this closed MLK permanently drive. See what Randy has to say about that. And I'll close you out with this column. With this cartoon, I should say. Taking a shot at Krasner. The truth will set you free, one inmate says to another. So will Larry Krasner. DA. That's kind of a shot at his alleged leniency on perpetrators of certain crimes. Okay. I gotta get you ready for the bus. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Again, I hope you got a little something out of it. I hope you enjoyed the read. And I'm going to revisit a couple columns, spend more time with them. I suggest you spend more time with your local news today if you have the time. Carve out 10, 15 minutes, maybe a half hour. And I'll see you right back here, 7:30 tomorrow morning. Have a great